Righty ho. Welcome to the Phoenix Airbus A320, flying today as United 2550, I believe. 2025 maybe. 2025, so 2-3 years in the future. Just a cool sign. Using Bing Maps in areas like this is an absolute godsend. So the maps replace mod. I know it's not endorsed by Microsoft, but half of this area is just auto-gen ground, which is nonsense, whereas when you actually have the full Bing Maps experience it's from the Google Maps replacement mod, but it's still Bing Maps, so it's just the updated version. And it works fantastically. Okay, interesting approach today. I'm going to actually use terrain radar for this one. We'll be doing the RNAV visual runway 02 approach at Tegucigalpa International Toncontin in Honduras. I've done this one before on my channel. It's an RNAV approach. Last time I did this, I was in the fly-by-wire Airbus A320, so we didn't have full-on RNAV descent or the whole final app mode. So we'll see how that actually performs today. QNH is 1018, and I've already set that 3006. So yeah, just cross-checking we've got the same inches as we've got hectopascals. Let's pop out the chart. We're doing the RNAV approach. I've actually been using Navigraph. The beta is actually fantastic for IFR. I am finding it really good. It's really intuitive. You can very quickly find all of your routings, and I've done that. So we've got RNAV runway 02, and I can actually now click simply here, and I have the chart overlaid on the onto my Navigraph, and that's really good actually. But I'm going to do it here because obviously you can't see Navigraph and I'm not really allowed to show anyone yet. So ground charts, we'll just save that one there, reference docked. Get the overview, get some information. So airport qualification, mountainous terrain needed. So large birds in vicinity, restricted area in immediate vicinity, and wind shear potential on short final. Airport elevation is 3307. And we've got some minimum safes of about 8,500 feet there. Runway 02, moving in particular. Mountainous terrain, large birds in vicinity, restricted areas in immediate vicinity, wind shear potential on final. It's a 5.3 degree PAPI, only for category A and B, so we don't actually use that because we're a category C aircraft. High terrain prior to threshold and downslope of the runway may create visual illusion of being too low, so we need to be too low basically. It needs to look like we're too low and we'll be alright. This is preferred for arrivals and departures, and we've got the favourable wind for it. The space threshold results in 1,600 metres of landing length available, which is not an awful lot. So we're coming in via Talag, and we're actually starting the long approach now. So there's our speed restrictions coming in. I'm actually going to activate the approach phase and confirm it. So we start to fly this now. The airport's about 12 o'clock and a few miles. We've got a bit of a cell over the top of it by the looks there. Terrain radar's on, we're not showing anything yet. We're on our vertical path as well. I'm going to switch the seatbelt signs and landing lights on. Obviously in real life I wouldn't have done the briefing so late, but you know, for the sake of the video I'm not going to make it 3 hours long. So we've done the Talag arrival now, we're at Melvo and we're now making the approach. RMP runway 02, AR north. Melvo now, we're going to these waypoints here, and basically after Tango Golf 012 there's a minimum height of 4429, and at that point we need to be visual with the field. So I'm going to set that in there, 4429. Speed wise, struggling a bit, so I'm just going to whack out some speed brake just to get us below the first flaps notch so I can put in the slats basically. So we've got the city in sight down there, that is Tegucigalpa in Honduras. And we're just going to come around from the left hand side, from the right hand side. Okay, there's 220 knots. I'm going to set flaps 1, we're going to reduce down to about 180. And continue slowing it down really. The range will actually, when we're on this base leg here, TG013, that's when I'll lower the gear down. 1018. And we're on the VDEV path. I'm actually going to arm the approach now. We're on final lap anyway, so that's fine. And we're going to ignore any further altitude constraints in the MCDU window, the whatever it's called, MCP, mode control panel, I believe. Terrain system, actually we need to keep that on just while we're coming through the clouds here, since we're actually IFR now. Okay, there we go, we're starting a left turn. At 10 miles from the field, I'm going to set flaps 2 and speed of 165. And then flaps 3. ASC received messages, UL Ops has received our ADC message. Okay, let's just check the final data. Arrival 0304, 1018, it's all set up perfectly fine. Temperature is 20, dew point 19, so we're expecting potential fog in the areas. We've only got 1 degree Celsius spread, that's the difference between dew point and temperature. So you can see there, that's why we've got this kind of lowered visibility, as is very typical around here actually. We often will find this when we're coming into land. Overview weather. South Honduras, small mountain valley surrounded by high terrain. The airport's near the Choluteca River, and the mountains dividing the valley are mostly volcanic. Peaks on both sides rise to 5 to 7,500. Lower terrain to the north. To the northeast, terrain rises 7.5 within 10 miles, and so on. Caution, high terrain in all portions. Expect downdrafts and wind shear when on final. The higher landing minimums and special missed approach procedures are designed to allow for the clearance of high terrain near the airport. All traffic should remain west of the runway to avoid a restricted area MHR4 that is adjacent to the runway. Then there's a few restricted and prohibited areas as well. Okay, gear down now. Speed to the aircraft, flaps full. We're entering the final approach, and we're going to start picking up some key visual cues, but first off let's find the airport, as we need to find it very shortly really. So that's the airport there, so field is in sight. And we're going to fly towards this point here eventually. This point here, then there's a motorway junction that we overfly there, and there's a big right hand corner of this building is basically what we're looking for. So gears down, flaps full, we're going to use auto brake medium. Spade brakes armed, flaps are full, lights are on, seatbelt signs are on. Toncontin traffic, United 2025 inbound for the RNAV runway 02 approach, and we've just entered a hazy layer, so we're going to be using the visual clues very, very extensively since visibility's just dropped to about 4 miles.
1,000.
Do we still have the field in sight? So it's a bit of a haze really. Okay, there's that point there, then we're going to fly towards that and then we should be okay.
100 above.
Yeah, continue.
Minimum.
Yeah.
$500.
Okay, there's the runway in sight. Coming over this now. happy.
Sync rate. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard.
Touchdown on the markers. Full reverses. Decel. We'll taxi off here. That was actually quite a nice landing. So yeah, we had to continue even though we lost visual, but when we had minimums, we were within contact of key points on the approach that basically guarantee a landing. So we kind of cautiously proceed beyond minimums, if that makes some sense. And if at the kind of final turn we still can't see the runway, then I would have done a go around. It would have been a late go around, but we still would have been able to make a go around. There's no particular problem with going around at Toncontin. There's no like terrain directly in the go around track if we were to continue straight out. So I'd say that was fairly justified. Now let's have a look at that landing rig, because that was interesting. What did we have there? 277 feet per minute. Considering it's a downhill slope, that's also perfectly normal, and it was actually a 1G 1G landing, which is perfectly comfortable, shall we say. So that would have not been terrible at all. Okay, I'm going to take one of these stands here, because we're United Airlines, we want the nice jetway, you know. Let's do some self-marshalling. On the mark. Can go off. Parking brakes can go on. This was because I just quickly did some high throttle. And we'll check the arrival time. We arrived at 44, it's now 47, that's been 3 minutes, so we can shut down the engines. And I don't have any ground power. So everything's just going to go black. Perfect. Right, this hopefully will load up. Yep. And we'll take the ground power now. And we'll turn off all of the lights. Beacons can go off, that can go off, that can go off, that can go off, that can go off. There we go. Straight in approach for runway 20 at Toncontin.